Hi, I'm Deborah.
Hello, boards.
And in this video, we're going to talk about how you can help make the holidays a little easier for someone with depression. And just to tell you a little bit about ourselves so you know that we know what we're talking about. I've been suffering from depression for 50 years. I got diagnosed finally when I was 27, so I went through a couple decades where I wasn't being treated. So I'm pretty familiar with. I had a lot of holidays and holidays with depression, and also I started a website in '95 for people with depression. So I've been writing about depression and mental health for a while.
I'd say so.
And your experience?
I am a depressed person.
Well, you're in remission now. So Lawrence actually started suffering from depression about the same time I did when he was 7. So about that
Something
time.
like that.
Yeah. So anyway, so we do have a lot of experience being on the other side, the person with depression and dealing with the holidays. So the first thing to remember is that everyone's depression is different. So we can't tell you exactly what the person is going through with their depression. It could be...
I mean, that's also a side note. That is something that should apply to all of our videos.
Right.
Definitely.
But especially in this instance, the reason I'm bringing it up is because we can't, even if you do research and read about a lot about depression, which we definitely recommend, everyone's experience with depression is different. The person you're thinking about their depression could be really severe. It could be what's called smiling or walking or hidden depression, also known as it's been known for a lot of different names, but it used to be called dysphoria. But anyway, so it could be a milder version. So the thing to do really is, if you haven't done this before, is talk to them about their depression and ask them how it feels and what they're experiencing. Make sure you don't try to... actually, you should probably look at our video of best things to say to a friend with depression, and also we have one on what to say and what not to say to someone with depression. So just so we don't reiterate all that stuff. But so the next thing I think I'd say to remember is not to be judgmental and not to apply the usual standards about how they should feel during the holidays and what they should do.
Because, I mean, if they're depressed, it's unlikely around Christmas they're going to magically just feel, oh, I'm so better. I'm so happy. It's like, no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, does anyone feel, except for kids under the age of 10, feel, oh my God, it's the holidays, everything's wonderful. I mean, realistically, there is another term called the holiday blues that is actually for people who don't actually have clinical depression but still are having holiday blues.
Yeah.
So don't apply those Hallmark, holiday commercial type of standards to them, because that's definitely not going to apply to them. And don't tell them how they should feel about the holidays. Yeah. Right? I think the third thing that the third way that you can help them is by understanding that there are going to be times when they're feeling extremely overwhelmed and it doesn't even have to be like a huge crowd, like at a party. It could just be the family get together. It could actually just be, a handful of people. There are several things that come into this. People with depression, it's part of the depression just to sometimes feel overwhelmed by the effort of keeping up conversation and participating in conversation. And also, there's a good chance that they're trying, they might be trying to put on a brave face for everyone and act totally normal. This is what a lot of people with depression do. So they could get overwhelmed. And the other thing is that some people with depression can be very sensitive to noise. So it could be that after, an hour or so of everyone talking and just the general noises, that, that they could feel overwhelmed. So understand that especially if this is like a multi-day thing at someone's house, everyone getting together, especially. But even if it's not that, even if it's, let's say it's Thanksgiving and y'all are at someone's house for a few hours, that this person with depression is probably going to need a break. So so understand that and maybe facilitate that if that's your house. Maybe if they're not if they haven't been to your house before and you're the host, maybe tell them somewhere that they can maybe go to take a break, or suggest ask them if they'd like to do something that they'll be that by themselves, like doing dishes or clearing up and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I isolate myself. I just sit by myself because I don't like interacting with other
Or
people.
you retreat to, the playroom at mom and dad's house.
I mostly just sit in the
Yeah.
alcove.
Although what we did last year is I suggested that Lawrence bring his guitar to my parents' house for Christmas, because that way he was able to kind of isolate himself in a way. He had something to do.
Yeah.
But he wasn't literally isolating himself.
Yeah,
So
I was in like
he pulled himself away from the conversation, but
yeah.
He wasn't looking antisocial, so he didn't get picked on for that.
Yeah, my family definitely picks on me for not being part of the
Well, our family is extremely sociable.
and I hate it.
Everyone talks a lot.
And I hate it.
It's very animated.
And I hate it.
And it can be, for someone with depression, something like that, where other people might really thrive on that. When someone has depression, that might just be really like nails on a chalkboard for them. So they're definitely going to need a break. Also, because of this behavior, the person might end up isolating themselves. So make sure that you include them in activities.
But don't force them.
Don't force them.
Like you've tried to do to me.
But don't let them just remove themselves from all activities, because the socialization is good for them. Even if it might be a bit of a strain, it still is good for them. So if they go disappear somewhere for a while, go seek them out and say, hey, I know that you need a break once in a while, but we'd really like to have you come join us. So you're probably going to have to make an effort, but it's really for the best for them. It's, assuming things haven't degenerated into some big family fight or something like that. But if it's a relatively, peaceable situation, then definitely it's good for them overall. At the holidays, what a lot of people do when they get together is they play games like Trivial Pursuit, or I'm trying to remember what we did. My ex-husband's family did Uno. After you ate, after dinner, everyone would break out some game that everyone could play. And one thing to remember is that with depression, people can have some cognitive problems. So maybe if you're the host, or if you have input into what game's going to be played, try to come up with some alternatives that are not really demanding, as like Trivial Pursuit, where someone really has to be thinking quickly, because sometimes, with depression, the cognitive abilities can just go down the toilet, and people just don't respond. Their brains don't respond really quickly, and they could just get frustrated. And remember, there's not a lot of negative self-talk with depression. So someone's already possibly telling themselves that they're stupid, or all sorts of other things. So you don't want to be playing stuff that's going to make them feel more stupid. All right. So low key activities, not necessarily, especially if your family's really competitive, then you don't want to be, you want to try not to play those kinds of games where it's just going to be really bad for their self-esteem because they're having trouble, keeping up. And the last way you can help, not the last, but the last one we're going to mention is, like everyone else at the holidays, this person is probably stressed because the holidays can be stressful. All the activities, might be getting less sleep because of all that's going on, and shopping and all that stuff, making food. and probably isn't eating as well, or is eating stuff that's not good for them, like everyone else. More sugar, fats, junk, alcohol. So what you need to do if you're close with them is try to make sure that they're getting the problem. The problem with that is that it exacerbates depression. So lack of sleep, stress, poor eating will exacerbate their depression. So if it's someone who's like a roommate or someone you live with or someone you see often enough, then definitely you want to try to encourage them to eat well, de-stress in different ways, like get exercise, do meditation, stuff like that, and get enough sleep. I forgot what I mentioned. Anyway, you want to make sure that they're balancing out those negative impacts on their health with with the positive ones.
Yeah.
Like getting enough sleep, for instance.
True.
So hopefully this video has been helpful. If it has,
Leave a like, leave a comment if you, even if it's not something positive.
yeah, well, yeah.
You know,
We would like to,
regardless.
criticism's fine. And also, if you have any suggestions about other ways that that people can help someone with depression, that would be great.
Yeah. And if you enjoy the kind of content we make, consider subscribing. And we hope that you have a good day.
Take care.